What's up, good people? Welcome to another edition of C.A.P. Let's cultivate.
Hello, everyone. Let's accumulate.
Hi, let's prosper.
Hey.
So, good people, the buzz, or one of the buzz topics today is former President Donald Trump. He is being pursued on two different fronts for a lot of the things he did when he was president. And what's wild about that is two of the prosecutors happen to be African American. The prosecutor for Georgia is an African American female named Fannie Willis, and the prosecutor for New York in the Manhattan office is Alvin Bragg. What do you ladies think about that?
I think it's very interesting, to say the least. I'm curious how this is going to turn out, having two black prosecutors, because Trump's lawyers come with some stuff. I'm trying not to say foolishness.
Oh, but that's what it is.
Said it now. They come with some, and so I can't wait to see what route they take with this. The first time that I can remember seeing, the black lawyers where they come real and come raw was, of course, Johnny Cochran. So I'm interested to see how this is going to transpire. I hope that they actually can get somewhere with this.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired.
Me too.
That's all I can say in a nutshell.
That makes all three of us.
Yes, I'm with you, Eric.
I'm
tired as well. I'm like, it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out, and just let it be what it needs to be. Just in general, when you do wrong, you suffer the consequences. So that's with anybody. So it's gonna be real interesting how this plays out and how the citizens will receive while it's playing out, and then the final conclusion.
I think too that I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I think too that in this, I think that maybe they can pull out some really, really tough things that can hopefully make the jury think, that can make you feel like, okay, you know what, we need to do something about him. But it's so hard to say how this is going to play out, and I can't wait to see, but I'm ready for a change in it. I can say that.
Well, my take on the whole thing is this. The case in Georgia is simply because of how he tried to influence the 2020 election. Everybody remembered hearing the phone call with him calling the governor of Georgia, talking about find the votes. So that within itself was something that was, no one has ever done that we are aware of as the public. The case in New York was him paying before back during the 2016 election when he was running against Hillary Clinton, him paying off the adult film star that he had an affair with hush money, and somebody in his camp, fessed up to that. So if the way the American construct is made, they say no one is above the law. Well, we're going to really find out if that's the case. But let's just keep it real. White privilege or white supremacy never plays by those rules.
This is true.
And we're seeing that right now. But hopefully that some manner of justice will happen, because should he get away with these things, then that sets the precedence for somebody in the near future to take it a step further. And it just so happened that once again, both of the prosecuting attorneys happen to be African American people that he's always had an angst against anyway. So we shall see if if this is truly one nation under God, no one is above the law. But let's just keep it real. We know how things have played out in the past, but
especially after January 6th.
No, there's always a possibility that something can actually happen. So we shall see. He's trying to use this to his advantage with his followers. But, it's just too much evidence there that shows everyone else around him have been prosecuted or indicted. So if that has happened, then why not the person at the center of it?
Right.
So hopefully we see how this will play out. But I'm rooting for the brother and sister to do what they do. And so we can be done with the whole 45 Trump saga. But I don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah. Like we all were tired. Like Erica said, we wanted to just go ahead and be done with.
I couldn't say anything else.
I know, right. Mm-mm.
Because it's been hard, especially being a black woman, listening to Trump and the different things that he has done, like openly. This is out in the open. Everybody knows this, and yet nothing has been done about him. Yeah, I'm tired.
Well, on a lighter note, the other buzz, I'm sure you ladies have plenty to say about it, was what happened a few weeks back at a awards party after the Oscars, or either before, one or the other, I'm not sure, was Miss Sierra and Russell Wilson. Sierra had on a outfit that was quite the eye-catching outfit, I should say. Mm-hmm. What are you all thoughts about that?
I believe it was an after Oscar, like you said, Oscars party. It was after party. Now they weren't. I was hearing that it was a theme. There was a certain theme attached to it, but I saw that other people wore things that were revealing as well. So it's like, why is she the only one? Not saying she shouldn't have worn it. I don't think, if it was me, I wouldn't have worn any of the stuff just because that's the theme. You don't have to go with the theme, because there were people who did not dress as they did, including Sierra. Well, yeah, as Sierra did and other women. So it's so many angles you can go with that. One being she is a married woman, and if as a husband, I wouldn't want my wife to go out showing what I see at home. Right. I was saying to someone, I said, we tell kids when they're small, private parts and all of that. So it's private for a reason, because it's not for the public. So I just looked at it like that. Okay, some things you can dress nice and not show everything, even if that is the thing. So that's my take on it. That's you not just as a married woman, even if you're single, I think it still was. For me, it's inappropriate, but I just think it's even more inappropriate because she's somebody's wife, and now you are presenting yourself what he sees at home.
Right.
So yeah.
I agree with you, Chamel. Even if there is a theme, I believe in wearing something. I feel like me, myself, when it comes to, even if they have a theme, I want to take that theme and do something with it that's tasteful, mm-hmm. but still, I don't know if I'd say sensual, sexy, still looks good, right. But leave something to the imagination. Right. With this outfit, there is nothing left to the imagination. There's no in between. There's no nothing. It's just there. Right. It's just there. And I have wondered at times, to each his own, but men, be it a significant other or it's your husband, mm-hmm. being okay with,
right,
your wife or your girlfriend dressing like this. Some men, I know they have the mindset, she has her own mind. I want her to be who she is, and I get that.
Right.
But you represent each other.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
you're
saying? You're
one. Right.
So that's how I look at it. Wear something that's tasteful and leave something to the imagination.
Erica says something.
It's just all out there.
Well, my take on it, Sierra is a beautiful woman. She has a nice figure. I guess it just goes with the individual guy. Me personally, if I was with her or with someone who had a nice figure that was my lady, I wouldn't per se want her to wear something that revealing. And I think if she, respects my decision or how I feel on that, she would oblige. Now, I'm not knocking what she did because obviously, or the assumption is Russell was okay with it. Because I would think she wouldn't have worn that if he was like, babe, nah, take that off. Don't go out there like that. But so everyone has their different opinions on it, and that's life in general. But for the people who saying that she's a slut and all these derogatory things, and that's a bit much to be saying that just because she chose to wear that outfit. For those who said it's empowering, you got it, flaunt it, girl, and do it like that, whether you have the body for that or not, well, then that's your opinion as well. We have to realize everyone's going to have different opinions, but it still boils back down to how her and Russell agree on, on their relationship, their marriage. Now, the thing to me is going to be interesting is I follow football, and I know his first season last year in Denver, he didn't have the best rapport with his Bronco teammates. And it's a little different with fellas than it is with women. Like, if that rapport doesn't get better in this new season, I'm wondering with some of those young guys on that team decide to make a remark pertaining to what his wife wore. And, Russell's been known as a calm dude, Christian dude. It doesn't matter, Christian or non-Christian. No one wants anyone talking about their lady or their wife.
Right.
So not to say that that's going to happen, not to say that she had to think about that, but my take is just because you can do something, it doesn't mean it's always beneficial.
Right.
We saw what happened with Will and Jada and Chris Rock from a year ago, and then Will ended up reacting out of character and did something that to this day has cost him to some form of degree. Not saying Russell's going to do something to someone on the team, and not saying even a teammate may say that, but then again, everyone has saw that. So if someone decides to say something slick at the mouth, but all in all, he liked it, he was okay with it. The assumption is, then, there it was. But I was surprised because, I know over the past few years she has been has changed up her style a little bit more than what she used to be. So, but for folks calling her a slut and all that, nah, that's not called for. She's still a mother and a wife, but it's just depending on the guy. I just know with me, I want my lady to wear something sexy, but it makes me think of an episode with Martin when it was an episode with two people he was trying to get some business with, and Kenya Moore played the guy's wife, and Gina thought that Martin wanted her to dress like the other lady, and he was like, I want my wife classy. I don't want her showing all the assy. So that episode made me think of this whole situation. But once again, it's to each his own. However they govern their relationship, so be it.
It's gonna be. I just say this. Like you said, what Russell said. I wonder what the conversation was prior to. We may never know, but that's just interesting. See, maybe it went down like he probably didn't want her to wear it, and she said, "I'm wearing it anyway." I don't know. We don't know, but I just think it's interesting if there was an actual disagreement that we don't know about before she wore it.
That would be very interesting.
It would be.
Because especially considering what, people have said as far as calling her a slut or saying she's empowering or whatever, because, to do something that your husband don't want you to do, and then you have to come through the backlash. There are some husbands who be like, see, I told you. Mm-hmm. And then there are some husbands who are going to be like, okay, she's wrong, but I'm not going to put her, pull her out like that because, you're a couple and you should stand up for each other or whatever. So it would be interesting to see how that does play out.
Yeah.
Well, our topic for today is the new normal. And we say the new normal is, what is the new normal for you in your life on how you go about different things in your life. So we breaking that down into 3 subtopics, I guess is to say. One is how you take care of your physical, mental, and spiritual health. The second one is second subtopic is how dating and relationships. And the third subtopic,
Your career
moves
and finances. So let's dive into this. The first one, how you take care of yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually. I can say for myself, from a physical standpoint, I've gotten back into the gym after a unintentional hiatus over the past several months. But I've hit it kind of hard now as far as with my cardio. I've incorporated some boxing. Not sparring with somebody yet, so I ain't went full Creed yet. But hitting the body bag along with increased cardio and, of course, doing some weightlifting. But the biggest thing has been how my diet has been. I have cut back on a lot of things, increased my protein. I'm trying to watch my carbs, and then just drinking more natural juices besides what I always do, which is, drink water, because that goes hand in hand. What you eat along with working out affects your physical health. Mental, man, we all got things that's going on. I had quite a bit that happened this week that I would not go into detail about, but we all have things going on, and sometimes you have to step back and just look at things, step outside yourself and look at things as if you were viewing in the third person, I guess, at least the way I look at things. And sometimes it helps you kind of, detach for a moment in a healthy way from everything that's going on, because you're looking at it as if you are a viewer looking at a movie or a TV show. And you're saying to looking at the character and like, well, maybe you should try this, as opposed, and then you get back, of course, to yourself to make sure you don't let anxiety or frustration just get the best of you. It'll come, no doubt, but you don't want it to stay. And then, of course, from a spiritual aspect, I mean, whether you're attending church on Sunday or watching it online, getting a word from a pastor that's feeding you something that can help you, but then on your own time, prayer and meditation in the mornings, at night, or whenever you set time out for just you and God. So I do that as well, especially when I'm dealing with a lot, but even when I'm not, even when things are going good, because I know that's important. Yeah.
I like to tie my spiritual with the mental, because really when I, have that spiritual time, it affects, or when I don't have it, it affects my mental space. So like you said, anxiety will come, but if I am spending time with God, it controls how I think. So I kind of tie that into together. And other things I may do, reading books that I'm real big on reading nonfiction books. So that helps my mental space as well. Sometimes both, like I said, I tie mental and spiritual together because me being grounded spiritually helps me, my mind. So physical, so many things with physical. And I think for the last probably 3 years, I would say, I think the pandemic has caused a lot of us to evaluate all these areas actually, but the pandemic and just other things I've had to encounter in my own personal life regarding my health has changed how I eat, and what I drink, and I'm still working on this whole exercise thing. I still need to do. I have a I told one of my friends that she goes to the gym all the time, and I said I need you to help me be accountable to do at least one thing a week. I don't need to do cardio every day because then I'd be, y'all wouldn't see me. I've been disappearing. But just some kind of movement. Not just I'm saying it, but my doctors are saying that you need to stretch. Because I'm sitting at the computer as well, so that's not helping when I'm not, stretching and all of that. So it's coming with age as well. Like, I'm like, why? They be saying that after 30, all this is going on. Yes, it's happening. All these things. Like, this didn't happen when I was in my 20s. But anyway, just my diet has changed. I've tapped into, trying to do vegan dishes sometimes. And so, just cutting back. I don't know if I'll ever be like 100% vegan, but I try to, just do better than I was a couple years ago. So, and that's just due to being, having to do it because I noticed a change in my body when I was eating certain things. I'm noticing what's happening. I'm like, something ain't right. Let me figure out when I change what I eat, what's happening. I notice a difference. So that's how I work with my physical.
Okay. So I will start with the physical. The physical. You guys can see I'm small. You know what I'm saying? Me and Chamel small. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say, not to just say totally my age, but when you get to be in the 40s, I would say you start looking at things.
What was that again?
A little different, huh?
What was that age again? In the
I just
40s?
said in the 40s. Don't start.
Yeah.
I can go there with you, okay?
I mean, I understand. It felt good because she said after 30s, which we know that Chamel's the youngest of the crew, but and I happen to be the senior on the crew.
In a way,
but yeah,
we the same age.
Yeah, so it's
whatever
all
that
good.
age is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so whatever that age is, we're not gonna say. Let's just say it's in the 40s. We're the same age, but anyway, but he is older, so yeah, I'll give him that elder. But anyway, I've always been someone who eat what I want to. Don't really eat a lot of pork, especially not ribs and shoulder meat because it gives me a headache. So being in my 40s, I've kind of changed things some. A few years back, I fainted once, and I realized I learned my body type. So with my body type, I need to be careful. I need to make sure that I'm getting the protein. I need to make sure that I change some things around. I need to make sure that I'm eating enough as well, especially for how busy I am. So I do know that. But of course, being in my 40s, and yes, I am trying to gain weight some, but I don't want to gain bad weight, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to gain weight in all the right places and but still be healthy. Right. People look at me. Sometimes I'll go to the gym or whatever. I love going to the gym, doing squats. I'll do some sit-ups to keep my stomach down because, yes, skinny people can get a stomach, and that's not cute. It's not cute. It's not cute for somebody to say, when your baby due and you skinny. It's not cute. But and it's happened before. So I do watch that. I do try to go to the gym sometimes. I have gotten more into trying more vegan meals, so that is, and they're really, really good. So it makes it easier, but as long as I'm getting enough protein, I'm good. My mental and spiritual, like Chamel, they kind of go hand in hand for me. For my mental, I do like to have some time to myself.
Yeah.
I do love reading. I will go do some driving. I'm thinking, praying as I drive. I talk to God like I'm a very spiritual person. So I talk to God just like I'm talking to y'all. Like I'm like, okay, what's up? Like,
Yeah.
what's up with this?
Right.
I need something. I need some clarity because I don't do stress anymore. Stress, some people say that it would give them headaches. Stress went to my chest, so I would get pains in my chest, and it's not a great feeling. So I try to eliminate stress at all costs
Oh yeah.
if I can. So driving helps me a lot. Praying, like I said, it goes hand in hand. I go to church regularly. I have all my life, but to me, being a spiritual person, and being a religious person are two different things.
Oh, very much so.
They are two different
Yeah.
things. And some
Very much
people
so.
look at it be like, you know, you go to church, oh, you so religious. No. And then I've gotten the, oh, you know, you're being holier than thou. No, that's what you're putting upon me. I'm not holier than thou. I'm just
Right.
like everybody else. I'm going to make mistakes just like everybody else. I just choose to focus on the spiritual side of things. And that doesn't mean, that's not saying just because I'm in the church. I try to mirror that while I'm at home, while I'm at work, because it helps me keep my peace.
Right.
And at all costs, I'm protecting my peace.
Protecting your peace.
And being the spiritual side, my relationship with God has like progressed tremendously over the last few years. So being able to use that is like, some things get me upset. People be like, Eric ain't gonna curse, Eric ain't gonna do this, Eric ain't gonna do that. But I'm human. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I want to say some things, you know. It was, you know, even at work recently, I was like, I wanted to say some things, you know.
Yeah.
But and it's like, people be like, you know, just go on and say it, you know, tell people what you think. And I can tell people what I think. I try to say it just as calm as possible, because if I'm going to change something, let it be because of me. I don't want to allow somebody else to cause me to change my character, because then I don't feel right. But I don't like to do anxiety at every cost. I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive. I may even talk to somebody who I know can give me a spiritual aspect, because sometimes things can get so deep for you that it can challenge your mental state.
Yeah.
And it can challenge your spiritual state as well. And it's like, okay, I need some help right now because I don't want to sink into depression. And I think with any of us, that's possible.
All right.
With
That's true.
everyday life, that's possible. So at all cost, if I have somebody who can help me see the other side of things, because sometimes I'm at a point I cannot pray. I can't, because it's like I can't see past the situation. And I tell people all the time, don't look at what you see, you know, focus on what you can handle and let God handle the rest. But sometimes it's, you got a trying week, people at work getting on your nerves, and it's like everything coming at you. You need something that's going to help you to be able to release.
Right. I like what you said. Sometimes with the physical, well, you said no, the mental. You drive somewhere. Oh, I'm good for that. I have a friend
Uber Eats deliveries,
stay in
anything.
Nashville. I will go visit her. 3 hours away. That's nothing, but it gives me time to just really just be there. I'm in the car. It's just me. I play music. I may play nothing. Just talk to the Lord, and so it's real. It helps me too.
You said music, and that is so therapeutic to me.
Yeah.
I can just get into the car, and sometimes it can be completely silent, and sometimes it's like just music, whether it's gospel, whether it's like, I love old school music. That just like it loosens me up. Get me some Whitney. I'm gonna be jamming. I'm gonna be singing at the top of my lungs. But it's therapeutic.
Oh yes, therapeutic. Yep.
Yeah. So the other part of all of this is business or career and financial. So the new normal, as for me with that is, of course, saying goes, a man or a woman that doesn't work, they don't eat. So you know that you're working your job or whatever it is that you do, whether it's what your career aspiration was or if it's just a job while you are working on building your business or your brand, which I can relate to that. And then, the biggest thing is when you're working, but you have an entrepreneur mindset, you're doing dual things. You're working to make sure you take care of your livelihood, but then also you're either already operating or building up the operation of what it is that you want to do as far as a business for yourself.
Right.
All of us are writers, life coaches, and other things that are of an entrepreneur nature. So, but we still have bills to take care of. We still have expenses. And then the biggest key is being able to pivot and find ways to bring other streams of income. One income, unless you are, say, a person that is maybe a doctor or lawyer or happen to be a professional athlete or entertainer, and even some of them still have other streams of income.
Yeah,
but if you're the average everyday person, blue collar, white collar working person, it's good to have multiple streams of income. And for me, getting my insurance license back active now, and just, besides working on another book, stuff that's from an entrepreneur, but then I have to also work to make sure I keep the bills paid, roof over my head, food to eat. And so the days of just, you still have a few people who, same job, 30 years or whatnot, and that's cool. But nowadays, most people, it's just a new normal in the sense of you're doing more than one thing. You're maybe taking a class or getting a certification in something that allows you to, whether it's dealing with real estate or whether you're a blogger, whatever the other things may be, to bring in income, to expand your career, to try new things in order to be successful and maintain a good quality of life.
Yeah.
I think my new normal is, I noticed that a lot of people that I'm around are really just like me. True, I work a job and everything, but the entrepreneurial side is what fuels me. It gets me going, and it's like, I think that before, you have a lot of people who grew up in that era where it's like, you got to get a job. It's like this order, the way things happen.
Right.
You go to college and you get this degree so that you can get a good job, and be able to make enough money, and then you can get a pension and you can get retirement and you can get this. And that's what a lot of people feel like that's the way it's supposed to be. It shouldn't deviate from that. And it's like, this is the new normal. You know what I'm saying? This is where we are now. A lot of people are wanting to start their own business, or they have what they call a side hustle. I don't even call it a side hustle. It's just, it's my business.
Right.
It's what I do. It has made me who I am. And in a sense, years ago, I was the one with low self-esteem or, kind of shy or whatever. And to know that now I'm doing more speaking, I didn't feel like I could ever do that because I'm the quiet type, so it has like brought me out of my shell, and now I'm able to help other people do the same. I love doing it. It's what fuels me. My goal is to have the job that can help me take care of everyday life, being able to take care of the bills and everything. But I would love to get to a point where it's doing what I love. When you're doing what you love, it doesn't feel like work anymore.
That's true.
That's very true.
You wake up in the morning and you feel rejuvenated. You feel refreshed. Is it easy?
No.
By no means. It's not easy, but we give 40 hours a day to someone else punching in on their time clock. And it's great. I don't knock anybody for that, but for me, I'm really embracing my new normal in this. I'm embracing it.
Yeah. You made me think of Tabitha Brown when you said, it's my business. That's my business. That's it. Business. But, I have, just going back to when I first went to college, I was supposed to be an accountant. So I've been shifting since I left college. I've been shifting, and now I'm not even nowhere, I won't say I'm nowhere near accounting because of the entrepreneur side, but I'm been in education and social services. And I'm going to go back to the pandemic because I had time to think at the house, couldn't go anywhere. And at the peak of it, I had a surgery. So I was at home for 2 months, just there, not just there, but I had time to really slow down because I'm busy. So I slowed down. I was forced to slow down. And it just got me thinking about a lot of things. And some things I noticed working in social services, certain skills that I had when working with clients. I said, I really like working one-on-one. And I was like, am I tripping? Is that something I really want to get into? And so I did a personality test. I forgot the name of it. It's not some random one. It's legit. But it mentioned based on your personality, you do well with working one-on-one. So into counseling, customer service rep. Now, I don't want to do customer service rep. I've done that. That's not me. But the counseling and then interior decorating, I'm not doing interior decorating. But the counseling part spoke to me. And so just learning different things about myself as far as what I like to do professionally and in the business world, because the skills that I have obtained in social service and education are actually transferable to the business. And so that's the beauty of that. I've been able to learn so much that I can tie into, once I do full-time entrepreneurship, I can apply to that. And so, but I have, like I said, additional income, different streams of income I have tapped into since I been writing and started doing coaching, helping other authors. So it's just so many things I thought about at home. Cause it just gives you time to think about what you really want your lifestyle to be and how can I live this particular lifestyle and work, what career will allow me to live this lifestyle. That's how I looked at it. What is the career that I have to allow me to be very flexible with what the lifestyle I want to live? So I've been trying to do things that would get me to that point, and that will call for me to leave the 9 to 5 to order me to do that. So
yes.
Yeah.
You said something though, when you mentioned with the degrees and everything, I went to college, and a lot of times, people will go to college with one thing and then they end up doing something completely
totally
different. Just
That's
like
me.
You said. And when I went to college, it's I love working with youth, and I've always been into the arts, and so I went to college, and I'm thinking, first I thought, okay, I'll do something with the youth. Then I was like, maybe theater. And then I was like, I don't want to actually major in theater. So I changed that, and I ended up graduating with bachelor's in social services and the master's in leadership. So in both of those, it's with leadership, you can get something dealing with human resources. I would love a job in recruiting or training or something like that. But what I've realized is, although I love working with youth, it's I have, using this word a lot lately, pivoted. I have pivoted, so it's not I'm not working with youth as much. I never thought there would be the day. I do creative arts, but I'm more into the speaking, the coaching, and the writing part, like writing more books rather than just writing plays. But in getting that social services degree, I feel like that's something that I could use in the corporate world. However, I'm still using it within my business as well, because in social services, it's still counseling. The coaching still falls along in that. So I'm able to use that. And then getting a master's in leadership, although I can use that in the corporate world, I can also turn it right around and be a leader in my own organization. I don't look at things as there's a manager and there's a leader.
Oh,
and they are two different things.
Yeah.
They yes.
I have had, supervisors, and they show they're a manager, but a leader get right out there in the trenches with you.
Yeah,
You're
that's
going
true.
to get out there.
Yeah.
You're going to work with them. It's not just about you do this, you do this. There's so much more to leadership than just delegating. And that part in delegating, you got to realize you can't do this all by yourself.
Correct.
You cannot. My thing is not just to have a whole bunch of followers. Yes, I do want followers, but I also want to lead in such a way that others start to grow as well. I've had people that help me. I do a conference. I've helped people that were helping me with the conference, but I'm having to find new people to help me with the conference. And it's a good problem to have, because the people who were helping me, they're starting their own businesses and they're doing things. And I love seeing that. I'm a big advocate for somebody starting their own business and wanting to do their own thing. I coach people about, learning what their purpose is. So I am huge into that. So just when you said that about the degrees, it helped me to see, although I have degrees that I can use in the corporate world, I can turn it right around and use it in what I love to do as well.
Well, yeah, just to finish up that part of what we spoke about, I've had my degree from Tennessee State University as computer science. I've utilized my degree at a few jobs, which usually were contracting jobs. And when I was teaching in the school system, I taught a computer science class. But never would I thought I would have become an author. I have. I've had previous and numerous speaking engagements, second podcast here. So the pivot is real. You never know where your life is going to take you. But you got to be flexible and open to it, and just use the skills that God has blessed you with.
Right.
So, with that being said, the third and last thing we speak about is the new normal when it comes to dating and relationships. Far as for me, being a single guy, when I'm not busy, whether it's working or working on my purpose, I should say, I'll find time, I'm going to go out and do what I like anyway, whether that's going to the movies, going to a concert, what have you. There will be times where I will be accompanied by female companionship to go on a date or go to one of those functions or whatnot. My thing is I tend to allow things to kind of happen organically. If I show interest in a woman and she shows interest in me, we just see how things flow. Everybody got a lot that they're doing, with their own personal lives. So I don't force anything, but I also don't like my time being wasted.
Right.
Now if if it's more so just a friendship, whether it's from my end or from their end, I just like people to be up front, and I'm cool with that. But if it has the potential, I just like for things to kind of just, go with the flow to see how things, develop, and not force the issue, not put pressure on anybody or whatnot. And so that's how I look at that, because this is 2023, so I've been 4 years removed out of a serious relationship that I was once in. So I'm just enjoying life, you know. Now, some people aspect, they may look at it as like, so are you out here just dating multiple women? Well, when I go out, when I choose to go out, yes. But it's not to the sense of, it's like just all the time. Mm-hmm. It's when I have the time, I make the time, and I'm like the Isaac brothers. I'm choosy with who I relate my time to, which anyone should.
Right.
Because for me, it's getting to know someone. I have plenty of friends, but if I'm going to get to know someone more on that tip, I want them not only to be my friend, but see if they have the potential to be my lady. Mm-hmm. So, but if we're not on the same page, or if they're dealing with baggage from an ex, whether it's a child's father or ex-husband, you know, I fall back because I allow people to be themselves, but I want them to keep it real with me because I'm going to keep it real. But I don't force the issue. I mean, you know, I make time when I have time for it. And anyone that knows me, when I don't, then it's nothing personal. It's just me handling other business. But I just like people, like ladies who are just being themselves, and just keeping it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100 because everybody's not out here playing the cat and mouse game. Now, true, it's still some fellas and some ladies who play the cat and mouse games, but I can only speak for myself, and this is no slight to anybody else who does that, because that's your business. But I don't, because I'm at a point in my life where assets over liabilities. Now, you can look good, have a nice figure, and all of that, but if your attitude stinks or you are manipulative, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for me, because I'm not fit to deal with that.
Right. Who want to deal with somebody manipulative? That would be interesting if they do. But you mentioned something about friends, and so my last relationship was almost 5 years ago, but I did have an encounter with a guy a year or so ago that caused me to think about how I approach dating. And so just the things that I was doing in my encounter with him, I said, okay, Chamel, you got to change how you moving as far as like boundaries and things like that. And so I didn't because, when you're trying to change something you've been doing for a long time, it can get uncomfortable. So I had to really do some self-reflection after that encounter. But it was good because it's like, okay, Chamel, have you really, in your past relationships, have you taken the time to actually build a friendship with this person? And so I would think about that a lot since that encounter. And I'm going to talk about that encounter in my next book. So, okay. But I mean, it's all good. I'm grateful for that encounter because I just learned a lot about not just myself, but dating in general. And then also this particular person had been married before. So that added even more things. So his approach to dating was totally different from mine because I've never been married. So it took me a minute to really figure out why he thought the way he thought, because he had been married before and I have not. So it's a lot of, mindsets that we can have, because not just because you're intentionally doing it, but just because how you grew up. And so it doesn't have to be like a right or wrong thing. This is just what it is.
Right.
And so you have to be flexible to say, okay, this is how they're thinking because of XYZ. And then this is how you're thinking because of XYZ. And are you willing to sit back and say, okay, I may need to change, a new normal, how I'm viewing this, because I may be closed-minded. I need to be open-minded about, okay, maybe you can change this way the next time you enter into the dating world to pursue a serious relationship.
I think both of you guys have said some very interesting things. Now, with me, in the past, I have talked to some guys, had, various relationships. And it's interesting, like I think, Jerry, you said it's been 4 years since you've actually been in a relationship. You said 5. We're kind of same in the same realm. It's been 4 years for me as well since I was actually in a relationship. But that's actually being in a relationship, that's who you're with, nobody else.
Right.
And I think like maybe like in 2020 or whatever, it's interesting. You said you had an encounter because I had one that I had never had before that, man, it was like, I remember telling a friend, I'm like, I don't know if I even want to date again. Cause
it can happen like
that. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't deal with liars. I don't. And so it made me start feeling like I love, just like you said, I love building a friendship first. Not to say that I wouldn't, go out with someone or whatever, because I enjoy going out. I enjoy going to play pool. I enjoy doing some fun things, whether it's pool, going to the movies, going out to eat. I love to hear live music.
Yeah.
So, I love getting out. I love meeting new people, but I won't say I have a guard up when it comes to dating, but I do love building a friendship first, because the person who I marry, like I said, I'm in my 40s, again, not saying the exact age, but being in my 40s and stuff, yes, I do think about marriage sometimes. I don't know if it will actually happen, but I'm open to that. But I want to be able to say, this is my friend.
Right.
I know a lot of married couples, and they built friendships first.
Yeah.
And in that, I see they are each other's best friend. And I also love how they work together in things. I have a friend who she sings, her husband is the musician. I have friends who are, they may be both life coaches, or they're both doing the same thing. They're both ministers or whatever. And their relationship is like awesome on the professional side. But then when you have that personal side, they have fun together. I want to be able to be myself, period. If I can't be myself with the person that I'm with, it's just not going to work. And I want them to be able to be themselves. I want us to be able, we talked about this in the first podcast, I want us to be able to communicate.
Yeah.
So if I can have a relationship like that, and all of that starts with the friendship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I love it. I love being able to go out, have a good time, and I'm with my best friend, and I feel like I can talk to them about anything. And I want them to feel like they can do the same thing for me.
Right.
And it is a new normal, for me, just simply because that encounter was a booger.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that about my last encounter. But you know what? It was interesting because we came from two different backgrounds. And so it was what it was, but from that I took a lot of valuable lessons that I can carry on to the next situation.
And that's interesting too, because it's refreshing when I do meet someone who is, single just like me. And when I say single, if you're not married, you're single. So, it's just what you laughing at?
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but yeah, when you just how you put emphasis, you're not married, you're single, because it's some people.
What I mean, though.
But I know what you mean. Yeah, it's just how you said it. But I mean, that's true. There's folks out there, men and women, who are married but yet still single, if that makes sense. But so.
But it's like being in that. Most of the guys that I have dated have been married before. So
that's a whole nother episode right there.
I'm so used to it, to the point where I'm like very, very careful even in that, because you've been married before. Are you totally divorced? Because I've had to deal with that. You're separated. You got a fiance all up in the cut. I'm just saying. But anyway, most of them have been married or, some sort of whatever. Yeah, in a situation. And I like for you, just like Jerry said, be upfront. Be real about it. Tell me where you are. And I can go with that. That's just be upfront about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting, ladies. So the new normal, we recapping, we talked about taking care of your physical, mental, and spiritual health, rather. Secondly, business and finance moves. And last but not least, dating and relationships. So now we're moving to the next segment of the podcast, which is something we're going to try a little differently. We normally do the pick one, but now we have another section that we want to introduce called Top 5. So just to let you all know, we still would do the pick one. It won't be on this episode, but we switching it up some. Change is good, which I'll agree. Yeah. So we got a segment called Top 5. And so I'm going to start it off. Top 5 things black people don't play about. Let me say this again. Top 5 things that black people don't play about. 1, paycheck.
Okay.
2, not eating everyone's cooking. 3, who all over there. 4, for those who like doing this, playing spades. And 5, start running if a crowd is running. Those are 5 things, in my opinion, that black people don't play about.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think, I don't know what it is. Me and Chamel always be about to talk at the same time.
Because it's so exciting. All of those points is so true.
I think I go with pretty much most of his, because I ain't gonna play about the paycheck. I'm not gonna eat everybody's cooking. I love to eat, especially now with what we were just saying about, the physical aspect and what we eat and everything. No, I'm not eating everybody's cooking, especially everybody's spaghetti. Ain't doing it. But spades, they ain't gonna play about spades. I've been at a lot of get-togethers. Spades or dominoes, they ain't playing.
It's a lot of arguments. Start with spades.
I agree with every single one of his. The one about which way you running? That's funny. But I think the one that I would add to it is black folks ain't gonna play about their kids.
Oh no.
And
I've been in school setting. They don't play with the
They ain't gonna play about their kids.
Nah.
But another thing that I know, I was for sure, and there are a lot of people like this, if it's someone that I truly care about, be it family, a really good friend or whatever, I'm not playing with the people that I love. I ain't playing. Don't mess. Don't mess with somebody that I really care about, because if you're gonna say something about somebody that I'm close to, and I know that it ain't true, and you messing up their character, hold up, Jones, let me talk to you for a minute. Yeah, don't play with that.
And I would say too, black people don't play about they mama.
Okay.
You're not gonna talk about your mama.
You better not.
You ready for a real live war? You talk about somebody's mama. Alive, not alive. You just ready for a war. But with the food, I want to go like a little subtopic with that. Like she said, spaghetti. For me, with that is banana pudding. I do not eat everybody's banana pudding.
And kids.
And then when you see people running, yes, run to. I actually, when you said it, it reminded me of something that happened in TSU's homecoming. It was a party at TSU homecoming.
No, that's my alumni now.
And then, me and my friends, we were going to a party and people started running. We didn't ask no questions. We ran straight to that bathroom. So what had happened? We went to the bathroom, but after we got out, we found out that it was somebody was shooting somewhere, and so I don't care. I'm trying to run. I saw y'all run, scream. We all running. So I agree with all of those. Run when somebody's running. Don't eat everybody's cooking. Who's over there?
That's funny.
That is fun.
Well,
Who's gonna be over there?
I said
I
that
ain't coming.
simply because a lot of times, even myself, if you don't want to be around some people, that it's going to bring out some negative energy, or you just don't want to deal with because you may come out of character. Not that you can't control yourself, but so you always feel like, okay, they invited you to the get together or whatnot. Hey man, who all over there, man? You know what I'm saying? Because if, you don't want to run into someone that you feel like it's going to make it awkward, or you just don't have the time to deal with any negative energy. So, yeah.
Paychecks too. Every time I notice a shift in the paycheck. Whoa, wait! I'm sending an email. And black people don't play about leaving work when the shift is over. Do not play about that. Yeah. It's time to go. It's 10 o'clock. It don't matter if you probably ain't did nothing for 5 hours, 8 hours. At 5 o'clock, you ready to go if that's your shift. We don't play about that time clock.
Yes.
All right, so my top five desserts. I had to really think about that one. But peach cobbler, banana pudding, which I just mentioned about everybody banana pudding, caramel cake. It's number 3. Well, these are not in particular order. These are just 5 that I really like. Ice cream, and not any ice cream. It has to be, but I really like Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Like, when it's on sale, I'm there. Buying it. It's on sale because it's expensive. And so then I like, did I list? Okay, sweet potato pie. Don't eat everybody sweet potato pie either. And then I like macadamia nut cookies.
Okay.
My top 5 desserts: cinnamon rolls. Good cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls, especially the homemade ones. I know coming up when I was in high school back in the day, those cinnamon rolls in high school were they were delicious. Pound cake.
Oh yeah.
Carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. Banana pudding, but not everybody's banana pudding, but banana pudding, and peanut butter cookies. Some good peanut butter cookies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, German chocolate cake.
Okay.
It's not in any certain order, but I like coconut. German chocolate cake, coconut cake, sweet potato pie.
Oh, y'all said. Banana pudding.
I like peach cobbler and banana pudding if it's made right.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, if you could, I said sweet potato. Yeah, so I said them all. So yeah, those are mine. So we're going to go with 5 hobbies. So I love writing. I love getting into, it's not just the theater side, not just the writing side, but there is a method to my madness when it comes to things. I love to take a song and have it acted out. And I don't mean just miming, but I love to get some people to literally act a song out. I have had it where you have some people being like drug dealers, or you may have a couple and they're having like some issues. I learned it when I was going up to a particular church when I was in creative arts, and I absolutely love being creative like that. So I love finding ways to be creative. That's number 2. 3, I love going to play pool. Like, it's just so much fun to me. I learned how to play pool when I was a little girl. We had a pool table at the house that we were actually keeping for someone when they moved, and they didn't have room for it. So we had their pool table for a while, and I absolutely loved it. I learned to play, and I don't play as often as I like, but that is a great pastime. I love going to the movies. So that is a whole lot of fun to me, and another great thing for me to do, or rather hobby. Let me see. I love, even though I'm not the best singer, I love To sing.
Sing.
I love to sing. So this has been so much fun. This has been, love the topic. The buzz questions was very interesting. I love this new game. That was a great way of us.
I didn't get a chance to say my hobbies though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why I felt like
You don't want to know our hobbies?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why I felt like we kept going. Y'all forgive me because I got going. But go ahead, y'all.
Go ahead, Chamel. I was like, hold up, man.
I love y'all though. I love y'all.
It's all
Forgive me.
good.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so the reason why I did top 5 desserts is because one of my hobbies is baking. I like to bake. I don't want to open no bakery. I don't want to do none of that. That's not my thing. At least as far as now, I don't want to do that. But I do like to bake. It's very therapeutic for me. I think I'm going to bake something next week, something new. So we going to see how that goes. Bowling. I like to bowl. And I can't go out with a group, not by myself, but because I never tried going bowling by myself, but with a group of people. Then this is something new that I've started doing. I don't know where it came from, but I like it. Going to the store and buying different color roses. Like, I'm trying to figure out, I was telling my friend, I'm trying to figure out what's my favorite flower. Because I think somebody asked me that, or I read it somewhere. But I was like, I don't know. I don't have a favorite flower. Let me figure this out. So far, roses have been my favorite flower. So I would go to a store. It don't have to be the same store, but different stores to get different color roses. And I like the yellow roses. Those are really pretty. And this is something my friends really get on me about, but I don't care. It's my business. So this is what I'm going to do. Collecting mugs. So I collect mugs for holidays, Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, like all the Thanksgiving. I'm collecting mugs. And then also when it's hot, I'm going to collect tumblers, like water bottles. That's it. And so I think that's 4. That's 4. Okay, number 5, going to listen to live music. I love that. I love it.
Well, my top 5 hobbies, 5 hobbies that come to mind that I like to do. Like traveling, vacation. Love doing that. Can't wait till I get to the next one here pretty soon. Going to music and comedy concerts. Eating delicious food, so trying different foods, different restaurants, stuff like that, but eating good food. Like to read and write. So me being an author, I mean, I don't know too many authors who don't like to read or write.
Right.
And, nuclear alert, flash alert, sex. Those are my 5 hobbies. I'm just gonna be honest with you. No judgment zone, but yeah. So, of course, within its proper confinements. But yes. So those are the 5 things I like to do.
Man said nuclear.
I know, right?
Yeah.
For those of you who are our viewers, first of all, forgive me, y'all. Forgive me.
You're good.
I was
It's
just
all
lost.
It's all good.
So for those of you who are viewing with us, make sure that you are subscribing, comment, like, share. We want to hear from y'all. And with our next scene, we want to make sure we continue to hear from you all. Keep coming with the questions, banana peel questions, to the cappodcast3@gmail.com. So now let's go with our next banana peel for the day. Y'all, this is interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay. So my ex and I are co-parenting our 2 teenage children, my son 16 years and my daughter 14 years. I've spoken to both of them about sex. To my son, I say wear protection. To my daughter, abstain. My ex thinks I'm being biased. I don't think so. What do y'all think?
Well, that
Who was that? Omar from Olive Branch.
Omar from Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, that's very common for people to do that, to give a whole different advice as far as sex to the girl than the boy. But for me, it should be the same because that's just me and my own personal values. But you can't tell the daughter to hold back, but telling the son, because the son, if you tell him not to hold back, who is he having sex with? If the daughters are telling this story and the son is saying this, or the son is getting this advice, it is biased. It is biased, and so I think they both should get the same advice, regardless of what culture is saying as far as regarding men and sex and all of that. Because I think that's like I said, that's very common. It's a very common response when you're having that talk with your children. So that's my take. I think it should be the same, Omar. And then they need to talk about, just really have a discussion about why the advice is changing. Why doesn't he think this is biased?
Well, Omar, man, I see where you're coming from to a certain extent. I don't have a daughter. Man, my son is fully grown, but back when he was young, and I'm sure he's going to see this podcast, so I'm not going to just go all out. But he did come to me when he decided to do that. Well, he called me actually because we were, of course, in two different cities, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I was at the gym, and so no, I'm thinking he just called me because he went to high school at a boarding school up north. It was an academic high school, so it was almost equivalent of a mini college. But I was glad that he, came to me about it. When my parents divorced, I really didn't get a chance to speak to my dad in regards to that. So I kind of learned things on the fly, did my own thing growing up. But so to pivot back to what you're saying, Omar, it just really depends on how you go about the conversation. I know if you're telling your son, if you should do this, decide to do this, then wear protection. And I know it's hard to fathom your daughter doing that. So, you want to look at, like you hear the term daddy's girl, mama's boy. You want to be like, I need you to abstain or whatnot. But, girls and boys are going to do what they want to do out here because we've all been young. So none of us have just this squeaky clean. We may not have done some things that others have done. But so when you become parents, you see things from a different scope. It may seem somewhat biased, and it does have a little biasness with that. But I get it. You're looking at, this is your daughter. She can, if she were to get pregnant, you see the evidence of what she's done. Mm-hmm. If your son was to get someone pregnant, not that it didn't happen, but, you won't know until there's a blood test. But all in all, you should talk to both your son and daughter about, hey, there's plenty of time for that. But should you decide to do that, because we know we're not going to be around you 100% of the times, go about this, even if it's as hard as it could be to tell your daughter that, because I can only imagine it would be, because that's just not something you want to tell your teenage daughter at any age, but especially at 14, but and then you and your ex should have that conversation, so it won't create a division, because the children will see that, well, mama tripping, well, no, daddy tripping. Yeah. So that's how I think you should handle that. But I understand why you don't want to think of your daughter out there with some old knucklehead. But at the same token, you don't want your son to just be out here being that knucklehead with a lot of other people's daughters, and end up making you a grandparent before you're ready. But talking to them, I applaud you for talking to them both about it, because, you know, there's a lot of parents who don't do that. Their children end up learning about the ins and outs of sex on their own.
Right.
And then it's a trial by error phase with that. That can end in a lot of things: unwanted pregnancies, possible STDs, or any type of, you know, if they're not emotionally ready for that, any type of trauma that can build up other things. So that's what I would tell you, Omar. But I salute you for talking to them both about it, and I understand where the biases come in at, but you just gotta lay it for both of them, and then hope that they both make a sound decision, you know.
Yeah.
That's good.
It is good.
Jerry, that was really good. And that was really good too, Chamel. Wow. But I like that he did cover both aspects, and I can see why she would say that it was being biased. I can see that. But I would agree that it would be good to I would say it would be good to say the same to both. Because in any perfect world, yeah, you would want your daughter to abstain, and you don't want your son out here getting somebody pregnant or anything. But, you know, I think a lot of times we know that, how can I say, the men's sex drive tends to be a lot higher. So, you know, you feel like at some point it's going to happen with them anyway. So at least make sure you use protection. But I also feel like that when it comes to the daughters, yes, we want them to abstain. But if you're going to say it to the son, you need to make sure you say it to the daughters too, because these men are having sex with someone.
Yeah.
That's first. And I think you should know the aspect, the girl should know the aspect to both sides, not just saying abstain, but then if you decide you're not going to abstain, you're just looking for him to wear protection. But there's birth control for women too. Mm-hmm. So I think you need to make sure that you look at both aspects of that, Omar. So I would say, yeah, it is kind of biased. I can see that. So I would say the same to both, because there could be the chance that your daughter decides to abstain, and she needs to understand too that there's birth control out there as well. So both of them need to be protected.
Yep. All right, Omar, I hope you have taken heed to the advice we're giving and make the best decision for the kids and you and your ex. And don't forget to send your questions to the C.A.P podcast 3@gmail.com.
Please, people, keep sending those questions to us. We'll do our best to give you some sound advice. None of us are perfect, as that's not just a cliche. We know that, but we really do try to give you the best sound advice, and that, and also definitely send your questions to the C.A.P podcast 3@gmail.com. Male or female, married or single, with children or without. Send them.
Send them.
This is good.
Yeah, it's been good.
So now comes the time. We've had the buzz. We've had the topic. We've had the top 5 things. We've had the banana peel. Now we get into our own personal segments, and we're going to make this quick. Of course, mine is the detours moment. And I've had like different people come up to me quite a bit. It's like even in conversations, I can be at church and my pastor will be like, "So Erica, so they took this detour." And then I've had a friend who came up to me, who called me once. They was like, it was like a few months ago when it was like ice and snow and everything. And was like, "Erica, I had to I was out and I was driving. There was ice on the road, so I had to take a detour. So it's starting to become quite obvious I'm the detour queen or what or whatever. And I did not intend on taking it that way. It was just in doing a play. And what I have started to see is that these detours are coming, y'all. Be it a job, be it a relationship. And I think that now is the time to learn to embrace it. Don't get lost in it. Just learn to embrace it because they are going to come. I don't care if you are male, female, children, adults, whatever. The detours are going to come. So learn to embrace it.
Yes, embrace the detour. All right. All right. This week's Forget All That moment is free yourself by forgiving yourself. So whatever happened that you didn't like in their last relationship, it's done. You can't go back to it. You can't change what happened. But all you can do now is forgive yourself and move forward. Because if you do not forgive yourself, you'll stay stuck in the past. And so we all about forward movement. Take what you can, the lesson you learn. And I've had to do this myself. I've spent a lot of things I've done in different situations with the opposite sex that I didn't like. But I said, Chamel, well, you can't change it. But you can't change it. So, but what can you do going forward? And that took some accountability. I've had to have friends to help me with that. So, but free yourself by forgiving yourself and move forward.
All right, ladies, both of those points were good. So let me drop the brain drop on you. Regret looks back, worry looks around, faith looks up. I'm going to say that again. Regret looks back, worry looks around, faith looks up. In essence, we all have things in our life that we regret, so we'll look back, reflect back on those things. Worry, when things are happening, you're looking around to try to find how to correct whatever the crisis or whatever the issue is. But at the end of the day, you have to exercise your faith, which you're going to look up to God. You're going to look up to God, whether through prayer, through meditation, through fasting, or whatever way, or all three that you decide. But just remember that, things come, things will pass. But you don't want to look back. You don't want to look around. You want to look up for the answer. And it's always the good Heavenly Father. And so it coincides with your faith. So just remember that. So everybody, we thank you all for tuning in to another episode with us here on the C.A.P. Myself, Chamel, and Erica. Keep on subscribing. Keep watching, sharing it with friends, sending your banana peel questions. We are going to continue to move forward progressively and being uniquely how we are to just cultivate, accumulate, and prosper. That's what all of us are trying to do in this life. So keep supporting us. And look forward to you tuning into this episode and our next episode that we should have another special guest come about. So until the next time, be sure to cultivate,
accumulate,
and prosper.
Bye.
Goodbye.